All right, so we want to look at the Aussie pairs, especially GBP AUD, Euro AUD, and then the rest of the Aussie pairs. We have actually arranged them here. And the reason for that is because of the fundamental events that are coming up. If you look at the fundamentals, we have tomorrow, which is 12th. This is local time, 3:30 a.m. This is, of course, just at the open of Asian session. We have the Aussie unemployment change. So depending on how it has been forecasted here, we could also try to map it up with a technical analysis and see whether there is a match. Remember, we want to trade when the fundamentals actually align with the technicals, or whatever fundamental events we're expecting, they have to be aligned with the available technicals. Then we can be able to look to buy. And to look at it simply, we look to buy low and then sell high. So looking at GBP AUD, the pound Aussie, on the monthly time frame, you will clearly see here we are at a high, and this is our monthly highs up there. So from a monthly high or from any high, that is when we begin to look for selling opportunities because we want to sell high. If you come here, these are the next highs we have, which will take a lot of time for the market to be able to reach there, but we are at a current high. And if you look at the market from this current high, you will realize this is also a high and then a high. So if you mark it like that, from this to this, you'll see your three touches: first, second, and then third. So usually with this pattern here, there is usually a tendency for the market to drop. And now the next thing we want to do is check with our fundamentals whether we can see confirmations. So when I come to my 4-hourly time frame, I could go to any time frame. Or better still, I come to my 1-hourly time frame. And then I begin to look at the charts here. Definitely we are at highs. And then it's usually from highs, that's when we look to sell high. So what patterns do we see here? So the moment we see a potential head and shoulders, we see a double top around here, like you see this high and then this high here, this weak. So this is the area in which we study the market, confirm patterns, and then look for entries. And then we can begin to target potential. These are the lows here as our first targets. And then eventually these ones here as our next target. That is if the fundamental comes out positive for the Aussie. That means our technicals would have aligned with the fundamentals, and that is where we get to pull the trigger. All right, so this is what we have on GBP AUD. So going back to the next euro, that will be Euro AUD. We also want to analyze it from a higher time frame, call it monthly, because we want to look at everything from the bigger picture, then to the lower picture. We don't want to focus on a smaller time frame. So from the monthly, we've been having this as our double tops. Remember, we sell high. So this was a high. This was an area where we had our previous sales. And then the market pulled down. And then we have market resting around these other highs here on the monthly. Remember, we have about 20 days for this monthly candle to be able to close. And look at the monthly candle open. And there were support areas here. This is the lows where we look to buy. So you buy low, you sell high. So now price just went up from here. So from here, we can come to a lower time frame, say the 4-hourly or any other time frame of our choice. And we begin to look for trading opportunities. This is a high and the market is actually around there. So this is an area in which we begin to look for patterns. So what patterns do we see here? We see that double top formation. Okay, and we usually know from a double top formation, there is a possibility that the market could actually pull down. And if that happens, this will be our first targets, low here, and then these are the lows here. That is what we shall look to target. So if the fundamental event comes out positive, we could have that movement. And that is what we anticipate. And it could actually align with our technicals the same way we are aligning here. Okay, so you just need to do that. And then going on to the last one, I could analyze all of them, but I just want to focus on a few. So again, coming to AUD card, the Aussie Kiwi. Of course, definitely we are looking at the market is very bearish on the monthly time frame. Then we can come to the weekly and begin to look for where we could have a potential trading opportunity. So if you look at this was our previous demand. And because of all these chaos, we can just focus on this as our low. And then we have this last week's low, which is here. Okay. So we want to see whether there will be a pullback. So in that case, I could come to the daily, and then from the daily, of course, the market is at the daily lows here. Okay. And then coming on to the 4-hourly, we are at lows. So what do we do when we are at lows? And then finally to the 1 hour, what we do when we're low, we look for buying opportunities. And that can only be validated if the news comes out the way we expect it and the fundamentals align with it. So you can see here, this is a low that we were interested in. So you just need to study the price action around here. Like now we have that double top around here. And if the fundamental comes out the way we want, we could actually have that move. So what you want to do, usually the fundamental events that come in the market, they do not change the direction. What they do, they increase volatility in most cases. So, and according to our to our technical analysis, we could have the Aussie strengthening because that is what it looks like from these three Aussie pairs, GBP, AUD at highs. The Aussie strengthen, we could have this directional move to the downside. If the Aussie also strengthen from the euro side, we could also have that directional move. And then if it strengthens, because the card here is the base, we could actually have that directional move. So this is what we want to expect in the next few coming, is it 5, 6, 7 hours? So that's what we want to see. And once you have found good entries, you want to manage your risk your total percent, let's say 3%, 4%. You don't have to risk your whole account on that. And then that is when we get to